want to welcome everybody. Tonight's a very special night because it's a night in El. And every night in Chodesh El is something beyond. We should be tremendous assurance that we should really transfer everything that we've been doing till now, that it should be no more a ritual, rather it should become a relationship, an eternal relationship, an authentic relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I want to thank Kuri Kowalski for really being the driving force behind these gatherings. This is all his initiative. He called me up back still before Purim. He said we should do something. We did something. We did, it was great. Now we should do something again. And Baruch Hashem, it's great. When Jews get together, it's already a good thing. When we come together, when we take time out, it means we take time out because it's important to us. Coming together tonight, right, there's no prime rib, there's no the only reason we're here is because we want to be together with each other and want to come together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu as one. So that in and of itself is a tremendous thing. Tonight is also my grandmother's yahrzeit. It should be a schus for her neshama. Whatever we're sitting here, this community, everything that we have, we have to remember where we came from. Our grandparents, our ancestors. My mother's mother, Chayudis Bas Reb Yosef. She should have an aliyah. She should be a medlitza yeshara for all of us. She should have a ksiva chasima toiva. She should be written in the Sifron Shel Tzadikim. Tzadikim Gemurim right away. And have a year of sweetness, a year of fulfillment, a year of health, guf of a nefesh. And we're going to try tonight to understand. Just for the record, these lectures happen, I wouldn't call it a lecture, I'll call it more of a talk. Happen every Wednesday night, same time, same place. Everyone's welcome, everyone's invited, bring friends, spread the light. Also want to encourage, this week we start to say slichas. And although, for the men, for sure, it's going to be close around 12:45, Motzei Shabbos. And although women generally, right, a woman has other responsibilities in the home, but if you have the ability and if you have the time, I would recommend coming to Slichas. Coming to Slichas. Why? Because Slichas is a special time. Slichas is the time when we think into ourselves, when we carve out time to come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and say, I'm sorry. To come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and say, I want to be with you. I want to mend our relationship. I want a better relationship. I want you. Ani ledoidi v'doidi li. I want you without any. I want you without any, nothing between us. So, not just lichas, but in general, davening throughout the year. Especially a girl who's not married yet, doesn't have children. I think it's healthy. It's healthy to come. It's healthy to come, to hear a tzibur, to be part of a group of people davening together. So today we're going to try to understand a little deeper what we do, what this whole time is all about. We've been speaking about it for a number of weeks already. We're going to begin to understand a little bit, begin to learn to hear and to understand the cry and the voice of the shofar, and to understand overall. Today is Rosh Hashana, is the day where the world is created. We create worlds. The world is being decided upon. But primarily what we're going to focus on today is Malchus Shamayim. Galei Kvoid Malchus Chaleinu, one of the primary words we say in the Tefillas of Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur, and this entire Tekufa, this entire time that we find ourselves in, is Galei Kvoid Malchus Chaleinu. Reveal your kingdom, reveal your majesty, reveal your reign on all of us. What are we asking for? We're all busy. We can have maloich.
We're ready to go.
We're busy asking. We're used to understanding Rosh Hashana, Yom Kippur. We're asking for a good year. We're asking for good parnasa. We're asking for good health. We're asking for good this. We're asking. We have a whole shopping list what we're asking for. But is that what we're really supposed to be asking for in Rosh Hashanah? What are we really supposed to be asking for in Rosh Hashanah? What's the day? Sometimes we get so caught up in ourselves that we forget to experience life. We forget to live life. We're running around like hamsters on a treadmill. Treadmill goes around and around and around and around and around, but it goes nowhere. We're running, we're rushing. We don't know where we're rushing, where we're running. Elul is one of the things that we gain in Elul, and hopefully for the entire year, is to take a step back, get to know ourselves, get to know who we are, what we're doing here, and what we're striving for, and what we really want. What we really want. What does the soul of a Jew really want? What does a Jew really want? We think we want a lot of things. My sister, Miriam Basina Pesi Yechevet, she was always my disciplinarian. I have 4 sisters, Baruch Hashem, they should all be well, 4 mothers on top of me, and the youngest of all of them. And I had a lot of fun, I still have a lot of fun with them. And, but as a child, Miriam was my disciplinarian. She made sure I stayed on the straight and narrow. I have another sister, Chaya, she made sure I matched. I knew how to get the I knew how to dress. Then, each one took on a different responsibility. Miriam took care of my discipline, besides my parents. And she would always ask me, she would tell me, when I would want something, especially a candy, she's very health conscious, Baruch Hashem. She's a nutritionist, by the way. And she would tell me, do you want it or you need it? Do you need it? Or I would say, I need it. I said, do you need it or you want it? And I didn't like that question. Because I didn't want to face the truth. I knew that I really didn't need it, but I wanted it. But I wanted it so much. I wanted it, so I said I need it. But what do I need it for? I don't know. We need to discover what we really want. What is it that we're seeking? What are we asking for? Is getting that extra 50 million really gonna make it for us? Is that what we want? Or maybe there's something fundamental, much more fundamental, that will make everything else that we get, the parnasa, the health, that will make it count and will make it really worth something. A person could run away only for a certain amount of time. Could run away from what he really wants from himself only for a certain amount of time. And he could numb it. He could numb it with all sorts of things. Numb it with good steak, numb it with good cars, numb it with a nice house, numb it with a lot of things from the outside. But Elul is the time when we go into the inside. Elul is the time when we focus, when we combine, and we realize how it has to work in sync, how it has to work together. Eila HaMishpatim and Shir HaShirim, the laws, the technicalities, and Shir HaShirim, which is the love language, the pnimius, the inside, the neshama that lays behind each and everything that we do, each and every mitzvah that we do. It's a time when we discover who we really are and what we really want. So what do we really want? What are we asking for in Rosh Hashanah? Lo yichal kol ha'olam kula b'chvaydecha huri b'chavod.
Lo yichal kol ha'olam kula b'chvaydecha mabay v'hinaseh al kol ha'aretz v'vi kavarecha
The whole world should be enveloped and filled with your greatness, with your honor. One more by way of introduction. There's a very famous saying from Rabbi Salanter, the giant of Musar, the founder of the Musar movement, that he says, Elul, really the whole year should be Elul, but at least Elul should be Elul. Elul, the month where we get ready, the month where we prepare, the month which is really a month for itself, where we come close, where we have a very special access to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So if the whole year should be like Elul, that means we should try in this month of Elul, going into Tishrei, Rosh Hashana, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, to gather strength, to gain understanding that whatever we accomplish now should go with us for the entire year. Agoy Natzadik Rav Moshe Weinberger Shlita, who founded and built a beautiful community in Woodney, New York, called Eish Kodesh, Holy Fire. I remember that community as a child. It made a tremendous, tremendous impression on me. We had friends over there. Very, very special place. A place where people may look different on the outside. All sorts of people from all different places, from all different backgrounds. You really see what it means. We are people who made a decision to live higher, to live more meaningful, to live real, and are connected through the Torah, through the Avodah, through that goes on over there. And something that we try very much to emulate. Something that should be emulated. Focus on authenticity, focus on truth, Torah, Avodah, connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I heard from him in a shmooze, in a talk, where he related a story about himself, which is tremendously strong. It made on me an everlasting impression. When he was younger, when he was, I think, a teenager or a young adult, he was a waiter with a friend of his in a hotel in the Catskills. I don't remember the name, but apparently it was something very famous. One of the classic Jewish hotels that existed in the mountains in those years, probably in the 60s, 70s, I'm not sure the year. Labor Day weekend, there was people came for Labor Day. And they planned the whole presentation, the administration of the hotel. There was a whole performance, they had a comedian, they had this, but it was also Labor Day weekend. That time was also the Motzei Shabbos Slichas. So that Motzei Shabbos, when they planned this whole Saturday Night Live thing, with performers and a show, it was also Slichas. So what do? They have to have Slichas, right? So the schedule was, there was going to be this comedian, and then there was going to be Slichas, and then there was going to be something else. So the comedian finished. Everybody was, he says the story over 20 times better, if not more. But I'll try to give over, because the message is so strong and so important. And the message of this story is something that is not just for now, it's for the whole year. It's a way we go, the way we approach everything that we do. It's the way we approach our whole Torah life, our whole life. It's our life. It's who we are. And the organizer gets up, and they're trying to, put a mechitza for slichas, and people are just not quieting down. They're talking. They don't even hear him talking. The organizer, they're trying to make announcements and nothing doing. And finally, the organizer gets up, and he says, "Let's get this over with." Again, I'm probably not quoting exactly, but something to that tune, so we can continue with the show. Something along those lines. Am I quoting right? Let's get this over
So we
with.
can get back to the.
Huh?
So we can get back to.
So we can get back to the show.
to the show.
To the show. Rabbi Weinberger heard that. It hurt him so bad. He ran out. It was a wooded area. He ran out of it. He couldn't be there. He ran out. He was crying. It bothered him. Hurt him. What's so terrible? His friend ran after him and says, "Where are you running?" He says, "Didn't you hear what he just said?" He says, "Yeah." What do you mean? He said everyone should quiet down so we can continue with the proceedings. Slichus, then the show. He says, don't we live that? How scary is that? So don't we live life that way sometimes? That's slichus. That's how he's talking about slichus. Slichus when we're pouring ourselves out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we're connecting in such a strong way. Let's get this over with so we can continue with the show. That means the whole Yiddishkeit is between shows. The whole Yiddishkeit is between shows. My Torah, my tefillah, my mitzvahs, it's as if it fits into my schedule. That's a very scary way to live as a Jew. That's not the way it's supposed to be. The Beis Hamikdash, it's the center of the world. So now we don't have a Beis Hamikdash, but at least we should try to a shul, or the Torah mitzvahs that we do. We should try to. That should be our center, and everything should be running around after that. It has to fit into that. It was frightening. So the question that we need to ask ourselves at this time is, how are we living? What is our life? And when I say life, the life of a Jew is synonymous with Torah, with Avodah, with a closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How is that? Is it just a ritual that we need to get over with? Or is it a relationship that we crave and crave and crave more and more and more of? That's the question. That's the question. How are we living? We're asking b'sefer Chaim, bracha v'shalom, zochreinu l'chaim, remember us for life. But what is life? What is this life that we want? What is life really? It's a question to think about. A song helps you think. So we'll play a little song. Open your hearts and open your minds. And we'll try to understand what life is. What's this life? Zochreinu l'chaim, melech chofetz b'chaim. Da 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 da. Zachreinu l'chaim, melech chofetz b'chaim. Baruch Hu, you want us to live. And you want to live with us. Chosveinu b'sefer ha'chaim lemancha lekim chaim. Inscribe us in the book of life for you. Baruch Hu, you're forever living.
You know, Pshat on that is?
When I say one, what do you have to say?
Zocher l'chaim. You have to put the comma, you have to move the comma a little bit.
You have to?
You have to move the comma a little bit. You have to move the comma. Zocher l'chaim, melchos, because Feinu, the Sefer HaChaim l'mancha. We want to be written in the Sefer of the
To live
people
for you.
who live for you.
Very strong. That leads straight in. Because that's what life is all about. Life is to live for you. Life is to live with you. Kadosh Baruch Hu. You have many people that are alive physically. They're alive, their heart is beating, their pulse is pumping, they're even making a lot of money. But they're dead. They're depressed. They don't want to live. And they're waiting for the day that they won't live anymore because they don't know what to do with their life. So we ask Zachreinu l'chaim. Maybe you could say Pshat. Just came now. Give us a life that we will remember and know what life is supposed to be. Because of Kadosh Baruch Hu, you know what we want, and we know that you want. Chofetz b'chaim. I don't know if you can fit it into the words, but Rav Shalom Shradon would say that if a machshava comes in when you're talking to a group of Eden, you're supposed to say it. Zachreinu l'chaim. Torah is Torah's chaim. Rabbi Shimshon Pincus explains, why is it that we kiss the Sefer Torah? Why is it that we kiss a pair of tefillin? We kiss tzitzis. We kiss a siddur, falls on the floor, we kiss it. We use it, we kiss it. Why? Because it's alive. It has feelings. I say this story over usually on Simchas Torah. When our community had the first Hashana Sefer Torah, back in the late 1900s. The first Hashana Sefer Torah, facilitated by Rabbi Yaakov and Helen David Zechronim Levracha. It was donated by Helen's brother, I believe, David Elbaum, David Ber Elbaum, Zechronim Levracha. It was a big simcha. It was in the 90s. The Iron Curtain had just broke, and here the first community of Russian Jews is getting its own Sefer Torah. It was a huge simcha. You hear, it was huge. It was big. And Rav Pam, Zechronim Levracha, Rav Pam was the Rashiv of Torah V'das, the founder of Shuvu. A Gadol B'Yisrael, a Gadol Ador, spoke at that Hashana Sefer Torah. Honestly, I was too young to remember what he said. But a number of years ago, a very close friend of mine, mentor, Rabbi, reminded me, it told me what that speech was all about. He spoke to the Torah. The Torah is alive. The Torah has feelings. Sefer Torah. I was speaking actually just to Harav Akiva Kelman Shlita from Prospect Park. He was telling me about a Sefer Torah that they have in Prospect Park, in the shul over there. That he showed it to a Sefer. Apparently there's a Sefer who's able to tell based on the parchment and based on the way it was written. There are some big specialists. Exactly how old, approximately how old the Sefer Torah is. And this Sefer Torah was written in the time of the Tsar. Time of the Tsar. It's in the Aron Kodesh in Prospect Park. And it made its way to America. And the Sefer Torah is already very old. And for the most part it's okay. But he was telling me there's a certain part of the parchment that's already getting worn out. But before he explained, he didn't specify parchment letters. He said the Sefer Torah, part of it has to be fixed. So I said, the parchment, the letters. He said, the letters? How many years already? Almost 200 years. The letters? The letters are good as new. As if they were just written. Just the parchment is getting old. What came to mind was Rabbi Akiva. When he was surrounded by parchments of Sefer Torah. Rabbi Tarfon, I'm sorry. And they were burning him, and they asked him, what do you see? He says, Gvilim Nisrofim. Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian. Rabbi Chanina ben Tradian says, guys, what do you see? He says, I see Gvilim Nisrofim. I see parchment which is being burnt. V'oisi is parchas ba'aver, but the parchment may be burned, but the letters with which this world was created, those letters are going. They're not being destroyed. They're going to continue forever. It's impossible to destroy them. It's alive. It's real. That means that life, real life, the life that we're supposed to live, the life that we have, it's got to be with Torah. It's one. We're one entity. Us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Torah, we're one entity. It's eternal. So Rav Pam spoke to the Sefer Torah. And he told the Sefer Torah like this. He said, a Sefer Torah, when it comes to a shul, is nervous. New place, new people. Right? How is it going to be treated? Yeah, the party is great. Block off the streets, lights, sirens, torches, music. It's nice. We dance with it, we hug it, we kiss it. Rav Pam, actually, I heard from a different occasion, Rav Pam would tell us Talmidim on Simchas Torah to hold the Sefer Torah facing you. Usually we're used to holding the Sefer Torah that's facing out. Facing you, why? Giving it a hug. When you give somebody a hug, you don't go from the back, you go from the front. Hug the Torah. It's real. See, he said the Torah is nervous. New place. How is it going to be treated? Are people going to listen to the Torah? Are people going to respect the Torah? Love the Torah? Or are they not going to really care too much for it after the party's over? So Rav Pam turned to the Sefer Torah and he said, I tell you that the place where you're going, I guarantee you, so many years they couldn't have you. So many years our community couldn't have the Torah where we came from. But I promise you, now that they have you, now that we have it back, they're going to love you. They're going to respect you. They're going to watch you. They're going to keep you. They're going to listen to you. Don't worry. You're going to a good home. Torah is Kiem Chayenu V'Rechimenu. It's our life. It's our song. A song is something that emanates from the depths of our soul. It's who we are. It's not the intermission. It's the show itself. With this understanding, let's go back to our original question. And what are we asking for? What do we want? Reb Shimshon Pincus gives a phenomenal mashal. But I think to hear this mashal we need another niggin to open up a little more. Maybe it's lots of Child. He had an only child. When this child was a baby, he right away commissioned builders and contractors and designers to build him an estate. A huge estate, gorgeous estate, with gardens, with stables, with ping pong tables. Whatever you could imagine, whatever you could dream of was supposed to be in this estate. Pools, saunas, whatever you want. The child was born, the child grew. And then when the child began to understand, the king took the child to this place. And he showed him, he says, look at this building. This is all being built for you. There's going to be a day you're going to be the ruler. You're going to be in charge. It's going to be your responsibility to make sure to take care of everybody. I love you so much. This is going to be the center. This is going to be the center of kindness. This is going to be the center of light. This is going to be the center of all good that comes to this kingdom. I'm entrusting it into your hands. Be careful. As you grow, make sure to stay on the straight path, on the right path, so that you shall be able to one day assume this position. Unfortunately, the child was good in the beginning, and he was enjoying, and the estate was finished, and the king brought him in, and already began, this is yours. The prince already began to lead the people. But it came a time where something didn't fit, something went wrong, and the prince started becoming greedy. The prince started becoming selfish. The prince started doing things that he shouldn't be doing, going to places where he doesn't belong, where it's not befitting for a prince to be. He got involved with the wrong people. And they played with his mind. He turned against his own father. And his father warned him time and time again, come back to the right path. Come back. Don't go that way. But alas, after much effort and much patience, the king had no choice but to tell the child, you can't be here no more. I have to send you away. And he sent him away, and in the beginning the child was so happy. He's with his friends, he has freedom. He's not bound by all these royal shackles. But after a while, those friends, in quotation marks, left him. His money didn't smell good no more. He had no more power, so they didn't need him anymore. He was all alone. And not only did they leave him, but they didn't leave him alone. They became his enemies. They got up against him. Yeah. They got up against him. And they made his life miserable. And he was all depressed and down. And he realized what he did. And to make matters worse, he was walking one day in the forest and he fell into a pit. A very deep pit. A very deep pit. And he broke his bones. He was bloody. He was broken. Physically, emotionally. And he screams out, Abba! Avinu! Malkeinu! And from appears all of a sudden soldiers, guards, ministers, medical professionals. Apparently the king had them watching him the entire time. And when he needed help, the king said, help him. They had no ladder. What are they going to do? How are they going to get him out? How are they going to get him out of that mud? The king said, you don't ask questions. They jumped in. They jumped in with their bandages. They jumped in with their medicines, with their ointments. But they also broke their bones. And they also got bloody. And they're all there in that big pit. So little by little they tried. They gave him some ointment. But they tried to heal themselves also. So they were surviving. And then they remembered, they looked at the calendar, they said, on this day, the king, he takes a walk in this forest. Because they knew that since the king sent his son away, he left his palace also. He said, I can't be here. What am I worth if I don't have my child? My child is in so much pain. How can I enjoy this life? And he went into exile as well. And they knew his procedure. He would pass by this area of the woods one day a year. And they see the day is coming. The day is getting closer. And they see, the day is now. They know the hour. They knew his schedule. They were his ministers. They were his officers. And they scream out, Hamelech. When he passed by, they scream out, Malkeinu. And the son is screaming, Avinu, Malkeinu. Aseh imonu leman shemecha. Do for us, we want to be with you. We want to come back. We want to come close. Avinu Malkeinu ein lanu melech ela. We accept your sovereignty on us. And then the king comes, and the king hears. He said, "They're calling me. My son wants me back." So he goes into the pit. He says, "What can I do for you? How can I help you?" So they say, "King, please send me a doctor. Send me a latte. Send me a Slurpee. And send me, please, I want a steak with some French fries. Pizza maybe, I don't know. For lunch, pizza. For supper, steak, I don't know. Maybe a glass of wine. And a jacuzzi in here would also be nice." That's what the king was waiting for. The king wasn't waiting for that. The king was waiting to hear, we want to come out of this pit. We want to be with you. Obviously, when you're back in the palace of the king, so you have the latte, you have the jacuzzi, you have whatever you want, but you have the relationship. It's not the jacuzzi that makes you happy. It's not the latte that makes you happy. It's not the steak that makes you happy. It's who you have the steak with. It's who you enjoy the latte with. That's what it is. Okay. That's what it's all about. The name Shal Rabbi says is self-understood. The Nimshal is understood. We are the sun, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu built us a home, which was the center of the world, which was the center of the world for light, for health, for happiness, for prosperity. Chazal tell us if the Goyim would know what the Beis HaMikdash did for the world, they would put guards to make sure that no one would destroy it. That's what it gave us. That's what it did for us. And we are the leaders. We take responsibility for each and every person. We are the Malchus. We are the princes. We are the princesses. Royalty is taking responsibility for someone else. Is thinking about someone else. And we had that place. We had the Beis HaMikdash. And Kadosh Baruch Hu told us, you got to behave in order to maintain the sensitivity, to maintain this place. But there came a time where we went the wrong way. We got involved with some bad people. And we thought we're going to be like everyone else. Budim kakfsiya. They're going to like us. They're going to respect us. Yeah, Bella. They're going to... Right? Right? They're gonna listen to what we have to say. But Marcus Lehman has a really nice piece where he writes about a family that was reforming, that was assimilating. Yisrael David. And he records a conversation between this was in Germany, between two very high up officers in the German government. This Jew made a party in his house. The king, the Kaiser of then I think it was the Prussian Empire, came to be at his party. And he hears this conversation between the two of them. And he hears them saying, well, as long as his wine is good, we can still tolerate him. That's what they were talking about the Jew. As long as his wine is good, we can still tolerate him. So we thought, yeah, Misyavnim, all throughout history, they always will be like everyone else. We know better than HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chas v'Shalom. We'll be like everyone. We'll be good. We'll be respected. We'll be loved. They'll love us. What do you mean? One, unity. Everyone together, right? We're royal. We're different. Hamadl ben kodesh l'chol, ben or l'choshech, ben Yisrael la'amim. It's light and dark. It's mundane and holy. It's two separate things. You can't mix. But alas, we were warned, and we were warned, and we were warned, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I have no choice. I have no choice. But he said, but I'm not only going to send you out, I'm going to go out with you. I'm not going to leave you alone. And he sent us into Golas, and Golas is that pit. And in the beginning it was nice, but then after a while, so we have to ask for a lot of rachamim. Who would ever dream that in America, the ability to educate our children in the proper Jewish way would be at stake? Who would ever dream that we would have to think that it may be a legal issue to educate our children according to the ways of the Torah? That's what's going on right now here. The laws that are being passed, the laws that are wanting to be passed. Baruch Hu was sending us a message. I gave you a Torah. I gave you a life. I made you my people. Are you appreciating it? Are you living it? Or is it only between shows? Torah, Tefillah, Shachar, Mincha, Ma'ariv, is that the show? Or is it only when I have time? Only if it works with my schedule. Limud Torah, learning Torah, is not just academic. It's nurturing the relationship. It's date night. It's nurturing the relationship. It's conversing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Is that something that we fit in? Or do we fit in everything around that? It's being taken, it's at risk of being taken away. What are we asking for? So when it comes Rosh Hashana, we know the king passes by, HaMelech Basoda. The king is in the field. He's right here. He's right on top of this pit that we're in. And we scream out on Rosh Hashana, we scream out, HaMelech! The Chazan gets up from his place. Not from the Amud, because in his place, every Jew, where he finds himself, can scream out himself, HaMelech, and say, I want you. But when we scream out, HaMelech, what are we asking for? The Melech says, yeah. No. What do you want? No, we say a jacuzzi. We say parnasa. It's important. We say health. All fine and dandy, I'll give it all to you, but what do you really want? Are we asking for Gali, Kvod Malchus? Are we asking to come out of this pit? You can come out. What do you mean? How can he take us out? All the ministers came, the soldiers came, they couldn't take us out. Who are the soldiers? Who are the ministers? The Talmidei Chachamim, the Rabbanim, the leaders of the generation. And they also come in and they also break their bones, but they have the medicine. The medicine is the Torah. The medicine is the Musa. The ointment to heal us. But they're also in the pit. They're in the dirt. Together, we're all in this big pit called Galus. The king could take us out. The soldiers couldn't do it. All the technology can't. The technology is putting us deeper into the pit. It's putting us deeper into the pit. Yeah, we use it for Torah, we use it for this, for Shiurim, but what price are we paying for that? What price? How could the king could take us out? Yeah, he could. You know why? Because he's the king. There was a story that was going, I think, Meaningful Minutes put it out, and it was told by Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson, Shlita, Rabbi Vincent Jacobson. I don't remember the name of the child, but there was a child in the kinder transport in England. He was evacuated to England. There was a whole group. The guy in the Yerushalayim, Zechar Levrach, Rabbi Yitzchak Tuvia Weiss, was one of those children. I think it was facilitated by Sir Nicholas Winton, of blessed memory. And there was one child that he was taken, he was saved, but his parents were left in Germany, and he was so worried about them. And the king in England, I think this is Queen Elizabeth's father, I believe. Yeah, her father. He would pass by. He would actually, the king would go and pass by through his place. And this child knew that the king is passing by, and they would all stand and they would watch. And when the carriage passed by, this child jumped the barricade, and no one was able to stop him. And he screamed out to the king, "King, And they took him away. But the king saw him jumping towards the carriage. And he said, "What does that child want? Bring him." Still, 5 more seconds, you'll hear an amazing answer before you leave. So 5 more seconds, let's do this. And the child comes into the carriage, and he says, "King, your majesty, my parents are left in Germany. The war, I'm worried. I'm not going to see them again. Please, bring them out." He says, the king says, "What do you mean? England, Germany, we're at war. We can't do this type of thing." But the child looked at him and he said, "But you're the king. You're the king of England. Of course you can do it." The purity of a child. The purity of that pure soul. You're the king. You're almighty. You can do anything. Within a month, this child's parents were reunited with him. So we come and we tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hamelech. Yeah, maybe we need parnasa, we need health. But what do we want? We want Meloichel kol ha'olam kulei b'chvaydecha. We want you. Ani ledoidi v'doidi li. Achas she'alti me'ez Hashem oisa avakesh. This is what I ask for. Shifti b'veis Hashem. I want to be in your house. I want to enjoy your presence. How many people don't enjoy the presence? They're hurting. We want to enjoy your presence. We want to live. How could you do it? You're the king. Avinu, Malkeinu. You're the Melech Malchei Amlachim. We accept. But in order for that to work, we have to accept his kingship. We have to accept Ol Malchus Shamayim. And that's the voice of the shofar. Lishmoya koil shofar. The voice of the shofar is the voice of our neshama screaming out. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we want you. We want you more than anything else. And Chazal teaches that when we blow the shofar in Rosh Hashana, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets up from the chair of din, the chair of strict judgment. Even though he's at, what do you mean? Din is mishpatim. You did this is what happened. There are rules and regulations. But when we say, but you're the king, rules and regulations is we're at war, we can't do anything. I'm sorry, I can't help you. But you're the king. You're the king. You accept me as your king. You want me. Kadosh Baruch Hu gets up from the kisei din, from the chair of din, of strict judgment, and goes onto the chair of rachamim, berachamim gedolim, and answers us with mercy, with love. We open up that faucet. So Kadosh Baruch Hu should help. We should be able to develop that strong desire. We're going to Rosh Hashanah, we're going to hear the shofar. This is what we should think. Shofar, the trumpet, the king is right here, he's right here. What are we asking for? And we don't know necessarily what that is, what we're asking for. We know what we want, but what is it? So we tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this year, I'm going to learn what it means to want you. I'm going to learn what it means to be with you, because that's what I want. I'm just bruised up, I'm in Golis, I'm surrounded by so many things that are distracting me. But I'm going to make it my business this year, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not to live a life of ritual, but to develop my relationship, to make it eternal, to make it real. That my relationship with you shouldn't be a relationship of between shows, but it should be the main show, life itself. And Mirz Hashem, Yizkor Yisonu, Yizochreinu L'chaim, Melech Chofetz B'chaim, V'kosveinu B'sefer HaChaim, L'mancha L'kim L'chaim. Ksiva V'chasim Atayva.